Shri Guruvyo Namaha. The next topic we are going to see in statistics, chapter number 4, presentation of data. So in previous chapter we have learned how the data are collected and organized. So these data generally it's too large. So these data should be put in a compact and presentable form. So this chapter deals with presentation of data. So whatever the data collected should be made usable readily and are easily comprehended. Data also speak meaningfully through the presentations. There are three forms of presentation of data: textual presentation, tabular presentation, and graphical presentations. Out of this, tabular presentation and diagrammatic, that is graphical presentations, are the two major forms of data. Presentation of data. So this refers to the organization of data into tables, graphs or charts so that logical and statistical conclusions can be derived from the collected measurements. So whatever the data has been collected, they have been done in the way of tables or in the way of graphs or in the way of charts. So all these things, it helps us to come to the conclusions what for the data has been collected. So the data may be presented in the three methods: textual, tabular and graphical methods. Textual presentation of data. So we already know that textual presentation means the data which presented in the form of paragraphs. Okay, so it involves the important characteristics and also helps to identify the important features of data in the textual presentation of data. The next one is tabular presentation of data. Under this, the data are presented in rows and columns. So here you can see the tabular column which has been given here. The men and the female are given in the rows, okay, and the urban, the rural and the urban are given in the columns. Clear? So each items that given in the boxes are called as the cells. So each cells gives the informations that relates to the gender and with the number. Clear? So this is called as the tabular presentation of data. Next, classification used in tabulations. The classifications is used in tabulation is of four kinds: qualitative, quantitative, temporal and spatial. The first, if you see the qualitative classifications, under this the classification is done according to the attributes, that is social status, physical status and nationality. So example is given as status and nationality. It's called as a qualitative classification. So here the classification is done according to the attributes. That attributes, it's called as a social status, physical status and nationality. The second one is quantitative classification. Under this quantitative classification, the data are classified on the basis of characteristics, that is which is measured quantitatively in nature. Clear? For example, age, height, production and income. So here the classes are formed by assigning the class limits for the given values. Understand? So you can find, if you want to find out the age in a certain states, if anything if you do means we have to find out the class limits. So class limits we already know that 10 to 20, 20 to 30 and 30 to 40. So number of persons which comes under the below the age of 20 to 30 and the persons which comes under the age of 30 to 40. Clear? So all these type of informations which can be done in the quantitative classification. So here the data are classified on the basis of characteristics, what data we are collecting. That means mostly it will be quantitative in nature. So the example is age, height, production and income. The next one is temporal classifications. We already learned in the temporal classifications, that is, it is mostly depend upon the times, which we have learned in the organization of data. Okay, so temporal classification, it is mostly based on the times. So times, it classify the variables and how the data is to be organized according to the time. Time means we already know that it may be a hours, or it may be a days, or it may be a weeks, months or an year. Okay, so if you want to find out the sales of a particular firm in 2013 and 2014, means we can make a tabular column that yes, in 2013 the sale of a company is 1 lakh, or in 2014 the sale of company is 2 lakhs, like that. Based on the sales, we can show the tabular presentation, that is called as an temporal classification. The next one is spatial classification. Spatial classification is done on the basis of place. Okay, so whatever the classification which is done on the basis of place, it is called as an spatial classifications. So this place may be either as a village, town, block, district, state or a country. So based on this, tabular column will be presented. Suppose if they want to know the export from India, what are the exports has been taken places from India to other world during the specified year 2013 or 2014, if you see, means we can draw a tabular column based on its destinations. What are the exports which will come from the to India from the other countries like USA, Germany, UK, Japan, Russia, all these things we can mention on the destination side. And we can mention the status of the exporter, what are the shares of these countries. So whatever the tabular presentation which is done on the basis of place, it is called as an spatial classification. So these are the classifications which is used in the tabulation. The next, if you see, means what are the objectives of tabulations. The first one is to simplify the complex data. That means the large number of informations can be simplified in a complex data. Next one is it economize the spaces. So spaces can be adjusted to based on the tabular column what we are presenting. Next one is to facilitate the comparison. It helps to compare the tables between 2 or 3 tables. And next one, it provides the statistical analysis of whatever the informations data we have collected, and it helps to save the times. The next one is it depicts the trend, and this last one is to help in reference, helps for the reference. With comparing the tables, we'll come to know about the reference for what basis it has been done. So these are the objectives of tabulation. The next one is tabulation of data and the parts of a data. So if you want to construct a table, means the first important thing we have to learn means what are the parts of a good statistical table, what are the parts should be there while drawing a table. Okay, so the most simple way to present a table means that we have to present the data in a rows and the columns with the whatever the explanation we have to provide. Okay, so the tabulation can be done by using the one-way tabulation, two-way tabulation and three-way, that is three-way classifications, which is depend upon the characteristics which is depend upon the informations whatever we are going to take. Okay, so a good table should have the followings. What are the followings? If you see, means the first one is the table number should be there, title, stubs are row designations. Next one is date, column headings or captions, body of the table, footnotes and reference, and sources of the tables. Clear? So when we are making a table, all these points should be mentioned there. All these things should be there in the table. Clear? So here in the example you can see the table. Okay, so first what we had done here, the table number should be there. What table? What is the table number? Suppose if you are giving a circular in a school, means we'll come to know in the top of the letter we can see the circular number 1 2020 to 2021, like that the circular number will be given. It shows the number of circular has been issued in a school. The same way here it shows the table number. Clear? The table number gives a which table number, that is 20 or 21st or 22nd, the table number gives here. So the table number is assigned to a table for the identification purpose. It will be given at the top or at the beginning of the title of the table. So before the title, the table number will be presented there. Clear? If one more table is presented, so it will be distinguished from one table to the other tables. If 2 table or 3 table gives, means the table number helps to identify this. Understand? The next one is title. So what title? So the title of the tables says about the contents, for what is the purpose the table has been made. Clear? So the title helps to know about this. So it has to be clear and brief. And when we are writing the title, we should be very careful. Understand? The next one is captions or column headings. Here you can see the captions or the column headings. So at the top of each column, okay, in a table, the column designations is given in order to explain the figures. Okay, so this is called as the caption or column heading. We can see in this table. Clear? The next one is rows. Stubs or rows ending. Rows heading, this one. Clear? So like this caption, that is column heading, we will have the row heading also. So the designation of these rows, it helps to entry this, what are the things has to be done here. Suppose rural, urban, what we have seen in the previous example. Okay, so that will be mentioned in the row, that is stubs. So the brief description of the row heading is also be given at the left hand in the top of the table. Here it will be given. Clear? And the next one is body of the table. The body of the table, this entire table shows the body of the table. So body of a table is a main part which contains the actual data. Here this is the body of the table which contains the actual data. So whatever the informations we have collected, all it will be mentioned in this body of the table. So here the table will be fixed and it will be determined by the row and the columns. Clear? Now we are going to see the diagrammatic presentation of data. So the method of presentation, that is the diagrammatic presentations, helps to provide the quick understanding when comparing to the tabular presentations. So diagram presentations will be more effective than the data which you are presenting in the tabular form. So there are various kinds of diagrams which can be used for presentation of data. Okay, so all these are called the graphs and diagrams. That is, these are the types of diagrammatic presentation of data, that is graphs and the diagrams. Bar diagram, pie chart, histogram, frequency polygon, line diagram, cumulative frequency curve, scatter diagram, pictograms and the map diagrams. Okay, so in the next session we will see about these types in detail. Thank you, children.